every single day. Get better. Put your head down, grind in the darkness, and then when the light comes, rise, fam. You got this. Keep going.
Hey guys, what's going on? Nux Trades back with another video today. Today we're going to be discussing all of my entry types that I use in my daily trading with my model. But before we get into that, a couple of quick reminders. First things first, make sure you hit this video with a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. If you're interested in learning more in depth about the model that I'm going to talk about today, feel free to check out some other videos on my page so you can learn that and have that in your arsenal every single day when you trade. Second of all, if you hit the link in my bio, you'll be able to stay more in contact with my daily updates. You can follow me on Twitter. I post a ton on Twitter, a couple posts a day. This video is actually going to apply to a thread that I'm posting on Twitter on Monday today. So if you want to give that thread a look and see if there's anything that I may have covered in there that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to do that. Also, in the link in my bio, there is a link to my free Discord. If you want access to that, it's completely free. Just hit the link and come join up. We have a ton of experts in there with this model. We've all been trading it for many months now, so we're able to answer any questions that you may have, as well as I will personally interact with you and answer the questions that you ask in there. Um, but yeah, there's that. And if you are interested in starting your funded career journey, then make sure you hit the Apex link in my bio in order to get yourself a funded account. But other than that, we'll jump right into this video. So I'm going to start off by listing the types of entries that I take with my model. And all of these entry types have been covered at some point on my YouTube channel, but this is going to be a video that just wraps up and brings all of those together so you have a one video you can watch. But if you want to learn more in depth about each one of these models or each one of these entry types, then go check out the other videos on my page because I'm not going to be super in depth with this video. This is going to be more of a high level overview. Okay, Nux entry types. So the first thing is we have our A plus entry, and I will give examples to all of this. A plus entry. The second thing we have is our Nux entry, I'm calling it, which is inversion fair value gap plus less risk entry, which I have a recent video on that. It's my inversion fair value gaps video. So if you are interested in looking more into that, make sure you check out that video. And then the last one we have is our less risk entry. So all of these entry types have different risk associated with them. So I risk a different amount for each one of these entries. My A plus entry has the most risk. That's full risk for me. My Nux entry has the second highest risk, and then my less risk entry has the lowest risk. So A plus entry highest, less risk entry lowest, and Nux entry is in the middle between those. So now I want to jump into drawing what each one of these looks like before we jump into some chart examples. So so this is kind of how the market would look. I'm not going to run all the way through my model. I'm just going to talk about what the entry would look like. Okay, so we have a swing low created right here. So we would need a break of this for a market structure shift. And we get a break here. And this is our A plus entry, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to put that up there. This is our A plus entry. A plus entry. And then we have a market structure shift with a fair value gap somewhere on this price leg. And then price returns to the fair value gap. Our entry would be right here at the bottom of the fair value gap or wherever my 5-handle stop loss rule is. And then dump. So this is what we're looking for my A plus entry. I will box all of these up. Okay, so that is my A plus entry. Actually, the box doesn't need to be there. A plus entry right there. Now we'll go into my Nux entry. And remember, Nux entry is just inversion fair value gap paired with less risk entry. So Nux entry here. And we have a price leg up, and this can be for a long as well. Just flip the A plus entry in the opposite direction. So right now I'm just drawing all short examples. This would be the exact same thing if you wanted to go long. So, and then we would have a fair value gap on this price leg. Price would dump and close below the fair value gap created on this price leg right here. And it would create a new fair value gap somewhere on this new price leg. So we'll say, for example, right here. And then we want to see price return into here and then dump again. So in this example, we actually do have a market structure shift as well, but we don't necessarily need a market structure shift right here. This could be just a just equal lows, or it could be a candle instead of a wick, right? So we don't need the market structure shift right here. We're just looking at a close below a fair value gap in the opposite direction that we want to go. So since we're trying to short, we're looking for a close below a bullish fair value gap, and then a bearish fair value gap formed after that close, which happens right here. So the last thing is we'll talk about our less risk entry. So our less risk entry is our lowest probability entry with the lowest amount of risk, our lowest amount of risk for us. So all the less risk entry is the market is moving up, and let's just say it looks like that, okay? So we're shorting, and we get a fair value gap right here on this price leg with no market structure shift and no close below an inversion fair value gap. So it's just a bearish fair value gap with no sort of market structure shift. And we went into there and write it down for 5 handles. So these are the 3 entry types right here. We have A plus entry, close below a swing low, so pairing it with a market structure shift. Then we have our Nux entry, close below a fair value gap in the opposite direction that we were wanting to go, and then a less risk entry formed after. And then we have a less risk entry here, so no close below a fair value gap or a market structure shift. Now I want to dive into some quick examples here. So the first thing we'll look at is on January 11th. We have a A plus entry that I will draw out. Let me get there, sorry. January 11th at 12:40. So we'll look for that real quick. Okay, January 11th at 12:40. So right here, you're going to see this fair value gap right here that plays out. This is our less risk entry. I'm not going to draw this out, but if you know how the less risk entry model works, I'll leave it right here for a second so you can envision this less risk entry and maybe quiz yourself on it after learning what the less risk entry is. But all right, on to the A plus entry. So we have market structure shift here with this swing high, and then we have bullish fair value gap right here with our stop loss on this candle. It would have been below the candle that makes a fair value gap, which would have been okay. And then for A plus entries, we're going to write it up for 2RR. So that would have been a huge win right there. And again, this is an A plus entry because we have a close above the swing high, creating a market structure shift and then a fair value gap entry. So there's our A plus entry. So now I will go to a less risk entry example for you guys, which is on January 10th. Perfect. Okay. So again, remember, a less risk entry is an entry that doesn't have an inversion fair value gap created or a market structure shift. So it's just a fair value gap. So right here, we have that entry right there with a short stop above this candle's high, and then we would target 1-to-1, so 5 handles. And that's a quick win on the same candle. That's a win. And I do want to make a quick note about the less risk entry. I do not recommend using the less risk entry on just any model. My model specifically, I know the win rate, and I know that the win rate is very good and over 50%, so it is profitable. So if you're interested in using a less risk entry, I would backtest it with your model first because this is the only entry type that may be model specific where it only works best with my model. So if you're interested in using this, make sure you backtest it with your own model, or if you trade my model, I would also recommend backtesting it to see if it's something that you're willing to take. But personally, I found it profitable for myself, and that may be because I'm a very specific and I have very specific criteria for my entries, but it is profitable. So again, no market structure shift, no close below an inversion fair value gap or anything with this entry, just a bearish fair value gap and then an entry. And last one I want to go to is our NUX entry on January 3rd. We will have to go back just a little bit for this. But real quick, January has been a fantastic month so far. I put something out on Twitter the other day that I've lost one trade so far all of January. I've been 9 for 10, so 90% win rates. That's the type of high win rate you can expect when you switch to a model like this. So 10:55 on January 3rd. 10:55. Okay, perfect right here. Okay, so first thing we're going to mark out is this fair value gap, this bearish fair value gap right here. This bearish fair value gap right here. So we're looking for a close above that to consider going long. And what do we get? We get this fair value gap right here. And then my stop would be below this candle right here. So my entry would have came a little bit lower for my fixed 5 handle stop loss. So we get that, and then you can write it up. I'm still experimenting with taking this for 1 RR and 2 RR, so that's something that I'm going to be researching more into. But for this specific trade, you can see it went 2 RR. So that's something I would look back and back test for you guys to see if you would prefer it going 2 RR or just taking it all off at 1 to 1. But again, so we have a close above this bearish fair value gap right here. So that is our advanced market structure shift for our NUX entry. And then we have a bullish fair value gap created right here, which is the entry that we're looking for, and we ride it all the way up. So those are the three entry types and how I use them. I did not cover any of my model, so how I use them with my model. This is just solely the entry types on the chart. Now, all of these entries that I covered, or all of these specific examples that I covered in here, they were actual setups with my model. But if you want to learn more about the model, be sure to check out my other YouTube videos and see how you can get a super high win rate like me and be a data-driven trader. I average about 83 to 85% win rate on ES and around 80% on oil, which is the other market that I do trade. But before we leave, I wanted to give you guys some quick motivation on how you can become a better trader, right? So everyone, they always just sit and they think about how they can become a better trader. And it's not like they're stalling, but they're stuck and they don't know what they actually need to do to get better. So for me, the biggest thing that I did was finding a model like this that I can rinse and repeat and trade over and over and over again. Many people they dip their feet in a couple of different models throughout the market, right? And that's not the way to become profitable. The way to do it is just to stick to one model and let your probabilities play out. You have to be able to endure losses so that you can actually see the probabilities play out. You might take 2 losses in a row with my model, and then you might win the next 8 trades. But if you're going to give up when the 2 losses in a row happen, you're never going to see your probabilities play out. You have to be willing to endure some losses to win. Trading is hard. Trading takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, but you really got to put your head down and just do this thing. So what I would encourage you to do is if you're looking for a model, you've stumbled along the right YouTube channel. Look into my videos, look at my model. If it's something that you think you'd really like to trade, then trade it. Come join my Discord, ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer it. If you stumble along my videos and you don't like the specific model I trade, that's completely fine. It's not for everyone. But what I would recommend is finding yourself a model that you can trade over and over and over again and not switching up because model jumpers won't be profitable. Now, we do have to adapt to different market types. We do have to change up our model, but that's what the data is for, right? So I have over a year's worth of data at this point. I'm able to make effective changes. Maybe I figure out, and this isn't true, I'm just using an example. Maybe I figure out on consumer confidence comes out, our model has a 40% win rate, so I don't trade consumer confidence days. This is the type of things we can figure out when we actually trade one model for an extended period of time. So that's how you get to the next level. And I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Be sure to stay in touch. Follow me on everything at Nux Trades. Join the Discord and like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you guys next time, safe trading, praise God, and peace.